Hey guys, Akil here. Welcome back to another Trading Coach podcast video edition. So head over to Spotify or check this out on YouTube if you want to see that version of it. Today, we're going to talk about how one action can help 5 parts of your trading. And I think the answer will leave you puzzled. Or puzzle is the answer. Puzzle is the answer. I think I worded that wrongly. Puzzles are the answer to the question. That's the one thing you can do that will help 5 aspects of your trading. And the idea came from an activity I recently did with my kids. My kids are both soccer players. My job as a dad is to get them both mentally and physically prepared so that they can go pro, make big contracts, and I can invest their money in the market. We've talked about the power of compounding and using other people's money in investments. That is my big plan. I'll shame them into giving me them or rob them and steal them, whatever works out best. Anyway, we found this cool video where it was a soccer tactics quiz, right? So essentially what they did was they would show video. They'd be like, hey, the ball is here. What should you do? Option A, blah, 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 blah. Option B, do this. Option C. And we went through answering the questions. And I always enjoy that stuff as a coach myself. But the kids really liked it. And you can tell that they actually learned something from it. And in their matches later, they had some brilliant plays that were kind of based off what we just watched. So I was thinking to myself, what if we made a trading version of this? And I remember we actually tried a long time ago. It didn't actually make sense, but the technology was there. When we had first started Tier 1 trading, right, we were looking at really a revolutionary way of doing trading education, right? We had experience from past companies we were a part of, but we knew that it wasn't enough. We knew that working with the trader instead of just kind of, hey, watch this lesson, take this course, that was the real key to success. And we were trying to figure out the best way to kind of grade traders on their progress, meaning that, hey, you know that you're ready to go to the next step when you do X, Y, and Z. Now, we ended up doing quizzes and stuff on the platform, which is helpful, but we did want a more dynamic way of doing it. And when talking with some programmers, the idea that was, it didn't end up working out, but it was best was to actually put together an interactive quiz, either something at the end of each course module, training module, or something that we do on a regular basis on the platform. So, for example, I would record something with this software and where I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, right? And what I can do is I can mark it up on the software, but it doesn't kind of show until the person answers the question. So let's say I'm looking for double tops in an ascending triangle, right? I go to the trader, I record it, I write up on my markups and blah, 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 blah. And then we program it. And then when the trader gets it, the question is like, hey, what two classic price action patterns do you see on this chart? And they have to kind of go through it and mark it up themselves. And when they're ready, they push submit. And then it has their analysis. It shows my analysis. And they kind of judge themselves off of seeing what I'm seeing. So it is a great tool. The problem is, and you can do it for other things like not just patterns, but like, hey, like a long entry, short entry. Hey, which do you think is the path of least resistance? Which do you think is, where's the breakout point going to go to or whatever like that? And it's really cool in theory. The problem is it's only most helpful if you're training trading robots, and we're not training trading robots. We are trading, individual thinkers, right? So if you're not familiar with kind of our teaching style in our course, right? We're not one of those companies where it's like, hey, this is my strategy. This is the way to trade. You only trade this way. Nothing else matters, right? The idea is to make you a well-rounded trader, as we spoke about in the previous podcast. That way you can really attack the markets in the way that best suits you, your lifestyle, and whatever your dreams and desires are, whether you want to be a day trader or a swing trader, whether you're trying to win a prop firm challenge, whatever that may be. So having kind of a deal where there's only one right answer, it's not really effective because your analysis may be completely different than my analysis. I am counter trend based. You may be trend continuation based. And when we're looking at the chart, we're going to value 2 different things. I'm seeing a hold that structure and a potential double top. You may be seeing a potential breakout and a move to the upside. And it's just not right for you to go through something with your way of thinking, answer the question correctly, but because I see it differently, now you get a wrong answer and you're discouraged and you feel like you're not that good of a trader and blah, 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 right? So it just didn't end up working out. Good in theory, not great in practice based on how we want to run our company. So we scrapped that. But I revisited the idea, and I'm always revisiting ideas of how to stay mentally sharp as trading, in trading, right? Because as a trader, right, we are, really using our brain to analyze the markets and look for needles in haystacks every single day. And what I've heard is as you get older, you lose a little bit of that sharpness. And as I'm getting older, as you guys keep reminding me by calling me the OG of trading, some guy hit me up the other day like, Akil, I remember learning from you back in 2012. It's amazing that you're still around. I'm like, oh, that's so long ago. Like, it's crazy. But I'm always looking to stay both mentally and physically sharp. So I was reading something the other day about puzzles and how puzzles keep your brain sharp and how as you get old like me, you should start doing more and more puzzles. And I said, I don't need to do puzzles. The market is my puzzle every day. And then I thought, wait a minute, why not do 2 puzzles? Do the market puzzle and then do other puzzles as well. So that's one of the activities that I'm going to start implementing in my summer trading. But the question is, how can puzzles help us? Well, they actually help develop the same factors that we're looking to develop and keep sharp as traders. And I want to run you through 5 of those. The first is going to be cognitive stimulation. And this is basically activating different parts of your brain. So if you've ever seen like brain scans and when you answer questions or look at stuff and different areas light up, this is like having a fireworks show go off in your brain where everything's lighting up, everything's stimulated, all those neural pathways are being kind of probed and tickled and strengthened. Solving puzzles requires things like critical thinking, strategic thinking, analysis, right? All of those things strengthen those connections. It lights those fireworks off. Boom! And not only does it stimulate the current connections that we have, it helps develop new connections. So if you think of your brain as being like a muscle, right? When you go to the gym and you lift stuff and you feel the burn, right? That's your muscle kind of ripping apart and then it comes together a little bit stronger, right? This is doing the similar thing to your brain. Perhaps not ripping it apart, but it's training a certain area of your brain. It's strengthening your bicep of your brain. It's strengthening your tricep of your brain. It's doing deep squats and hitting the glutes of your brain. It's making your brain body muscle stronger. And when you're stronger, it increases your ability to do amazing things. Next is going to be memory enhancement. So any type of memory game, crossword puzzles, stuff like that, that's going to increase your ability to recall information. So take things that you once noticed or stored in the back of your brain and bring it to the forefront and remember it. Now, specifically talking about jigsaw puzzles, just specifically to trading, this is good because this engages your visual memory, your spatial recognition, the idea that you need to remember shapes and colors and patterns. And if you remember, if you're going to be a technical analyst, what are we doing on the chart, right? We are constantly looking for patterns, right? Every single thing on the chart is a pattern, whether it's a literal pattern like a head and shoulders or a Gartley, whether it's a pattern of trends and retracements and stuff like that, whether it's a pattern of, hey, when I get a 3-bar reversal, this high momentum candle followed by this pin bar, I get this. Every single thing is a price pattern, right? Or a human behavior pattern as well. So our ability to kind of not only pick it out, but remember it and then recall it when it's necessary, that's exactly what we're doing in trading. We are pattern recognizers and we are trying to exploit those for profit. Therefore, any type of game, puzzle, whatever you want to call it, that helps us get better at that is very helpful to our trading. Problem solving skills are next, right? This is going to be identifying problems. This is going to be forming hypotheses. This is going to be testing those hypotheses, right? Does this sound familiar? This is what we're doing in trading, right? When you get to the strategy development part of your trading journey, this is all we're doing, right? We're trying to figure out a solution to a problem. The problem is I can't make money in the market. The solution is what type of tactic and strategy do I need to implement in order to do so? Once we have that idea of, hey, if price does this, then I expect it to do that, then it's formulating a plan that is testable, verifiable, and repeatable. It means formulating a plan that we can test, we can verify per historic and live data, and then obviously we can replicate it in the market. So this is exactly what trading is. We are developing a hypothesis, a plan, a strategy. We are testing that plan to ensure its accuracy, and then we are trying to recognize it as many times as possible in the live markets. Next is focusing concentration, right? If you are a puzzler, and I learned this in COVID when all we did was puzzles for months and months and months. I don't know if I told you guys this story, but I haven't been able to touch a puzzle since, right? I think I have like some type of puzzle PTSD where, last time I tried to touch a puzzle, I froze up. We did so many puzzles during COVID. And for anyone that was with me, you know that the stores were sold out of puzzles. And it got to the point, this was my low point, right? I told you the low point in my trading was when I lost like $30,000 in pretty much a week. And then I missed the chance to get $60,000 back. And I was dark and depressed and grew this nasty beard, right? This was the same for puzzles. It got to the low point where I was in Target. I'm like a fiend. Like, I need a puzzle. I got 2 kids. They're going crazy. I can't take them anywhere. I need a puzzle. And I'm fighting like other moms and stuff over puzzles. And I leave with a 1,000-piece cat puzzle. Yeah. And we go home at the floor. And it took like 5-6 days as a family just identifying thousands of cats. Orange cats, striped cats, big cats, small cats. And we finally got it done. And I was supposed to have this sense of accomplishment because this is a big puzzle. And I sat there and I said, Akil, what the hell are you doing with your life? This is what it's come to. You do cat puzzles for a living. So I can't touch puzzles, but puzzles are great because they increase your concentration and increase your ability to basically pay attention. This is something I worry about with the younger generation, not just trading wise, but I suppose traders too. But I see it with my kids, right? When I was growing up, there was no streaming TV, right? So you had your TV show that would come on and then you'd have to wait through commercials and you have to watch it again, right? And there was no repeats, there was no pause. So like if you missed the TV show, you had to wait until like the next season, right? So if it came out in the fall, you had to hopefully wait until they repeated it in the spring or next fall to watch it again. There was no on demand. So you had to pay attention, right? We're in front of the TV like this, like trying to time, bathroom breaks because we don't want to miss anything. You get upgraded to where it's at right now with on demand, where it's like, I can pause it. I can fast forward through commercials. If I miss it, I'll just replay. I'll save it and replay it tomorrow, right? The whole DVR thing. To now where, it's like YouTube Shorts, where it's hard to get my kids to watch a live soccer game unless it's a really, really good game because they'll just, I'll just, wait till the highlights come out tomorrow and I'll get everything that happened within those 2 hours in like a good old 7-minute video. Or YouTube Shorts, where now they're just zombies scrolling like 10 seconds at a time, just like this. Right? It's crazy. But I actually see them not being able to pay attention in other aspects because like their brain is being trained to only pay attention to 1 minute max and then move on to the next thing. And it is a massive problem. We're going to solve it with our kids, obviously, because, we crack the whip at home. But I can imagine in trading what the future of trading is going to be like as people don't have the ability to, and people already don't have the ability to look at a chart and be patient. We spoke about this before, especially this is good with the summer coming up. Summer slowdown is approaching, right? Sell in May and go away, where the markets get really, really slow. They don't get bad, right? You can have very profitable summers. I've had really profitable summers. The frequency just dries up. So if you're a trader that's used to getting, maybe 10 trades a week, you may get 5, right? And what happens is you're used to 10, you want to get 10, the market's not giving you 10, you don't have the patience. So either one of two things happen, right? You enter bad trades because you can't wait for the good ones, or you can't pay attention long enough to find the good ones and you miss out on them. So I'm sure this is something we will visit in Trading Coach Podcast 8,415 5 years from now, right? But that is a serious issue. But anyway, puzzles can help with that because you have to lock in, you have to pay attention. And this is good for those who are trading the charts, whether you're a day trader, specifically if you're a day trader, but if you're a day trader or a swing trader, no matter what it is, we have to have enough focus to look at the charts, identify what we want to identify, not rush into opportunities. And it's very difficult to do that on a regular basis, especially if you're solo, right? If you're not with a crowd or a community that you can have conversations with to kind of, break up the monotony of chart staring. Lastly is your emotional and mental well-being. And this is the dopamine, that magical drug that we get when we do things that make us feel good. And this is task completion. When you complete a puzzle, aside from that cat puzzle, you usually feel good. You feel like you completed something, you feel accomplished. And this is just good for just your personal mindset and your personal self, for lack of a better term, right? It's good to feel pleasure. It allows you to feel motivated. It brings your stress levels down. These are all good things that we should have going into the market. We talk about pre-market checklists and stuff like that, where if you're going into the market with lack of sleep, if you're going into the market stressed out because of whatever reasons, you probably shouldn't be trading that day. Same thing with, after a trade, after you take a trade or after your trading day, if you're carrying that stress with you, it's going to carry over into either the next trade or other aspects of your life and negatively impact that. So I can definitely see how, doing a puzzle either before or after your trading day can be very helpful. You go into the market with a positive feel, like, man, I just did something, I feel good, right? Try to complete this real money puzzle right now. Or after your trading day is over, maybe especially if you had a bad day, right? Okay, I need something to kind of get me back on task. Let me do this puzzle. Okay, boom, got that done. And maybe you forget about what happened before. So those are 5 positive impacts that puzzles can have. If you have anything that you do that you feel helps your trading, something kind of outside of trading, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear about it. I'm always curious about these aspects of trading. I'm always on the search of how other things I can do in life can affect my business, of which is trading, because they kind of blend together. Trading certainly affects my life. My life certainly affects trading. It's a weird little kind of Venn diagram of professionalism that exists, wherever that Venn diagram may be. But if you have anything that you've personally done or any ideas that you're thinking of, shoot them in. I'd love to research them and I'd love to share them. Speaking of sharing, make sure you share this show with your social community. It's a lot of S's in a row. I'm glad I nailed that. Share, show, social, but do it. It's one of the best ways that you can support the show. We're trying to reach 4 million views, I think it is, with the Trading Coach podcast. I forgot between this and the YouTube channel, but we've got goals. We're trying to reach either 4 million or 5 million views for either the podcast or the YouTube. And I think it's 55,000 subscribers on the podcast by the end of the year. So however you can help with that, I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show. And until next time, plan your trade, trade your plan. Take care.